Astro amigos, welcome back to Astrology with Ninad. In this video, I am going to discuss the monthly horoscope prediction for the first month of the new year 2025, which is January 2025. In this detailed monthly prediction video, I am going to cover several major areas of life such as career, business, health, finance, and much more. But before I get to the prediction part for all the 12 signs of the zodiac, let me take a few minutes to discuss the planetary alignment and position that will be there in the month of Jan. Starting with Saturn, it will be transiting all month long in its own Mool Trikon sign, Aquarius. Jupiter will be transiting all month long in the sign of Taurus. Rahu, the north node of the moon, will be transiting in the sign of Pisces all month long. Similarly, its counterpart Ketu, the south node of the moon, will be transiting in the sign of Virgo. If we look at the fast moving planets, starting with Sun, it will be in the sign of Sagittarius till Jan 12, after which it will transit to the sign of Capricorn, where it will stay there for the rest of the month. Speaking about Mercury, Mercury will transit from Scorpio to Sagittarius on Jan 3, and then again it will transit to the sign of Capricorn, where it will become conjunct with Sun on Jan 24. But for the most part of the month, you can say that Mercury will be in the sign of Sagittarius. Venus will be practically all month long in the sign of Aquarius in conjunction with Saturn. But towards the end of the month, on the 27th, it will transit to the exaltation sign of Pisces, where it will become conjunct with Rahu, the north node. Finally, Mars. If we look at Mars, it will be in retrograde motion and it will leave its debilitation sign of Cancer on Jan 20th and will move back to the sign of Gemini, where it will transit for the rest of the month. So these are the key transit and placement of the planets in the month of Jan 2025. So without any further delay, let's get started with the prediction part for all the 12 Rashi. For my Aries Mesh Rashi friends, starting with the career area for the new year, Jan 2025, it is going to be a pretty positive month for you. Reason being, your career lord Saturn is going to be very strongly placed in the 11th house of gains and benefits from the career area. And that too along with Venus, right? The natural planet of wealth, abundance, luxury, kind of, you can say, luck factor. So this combination is looking to be very fruitful for your career growth and progress this month. But the main thing is that you have to avoid getting into confrontations, arguments with your colleagues, with your co-workers or your subordinates, especially in the first 3 weeks, because Mars will be impacting your career house and your career lord Saturn. So you have to be a bit cautious. And even when there will be the conjunction of Sun and Mercury in your career house, it is going to be quite a beneficial time for you to get recognition, more respect, and kind of, build your credibility at the workplace. But due to Sun, being in its enemy sign of Capricorn, you still have to avoid, unnecessary arguments, disputes, quarrels with your higher ups, with the authority figures. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, in the month of Jan, you will do great in your career, but try not to get into unnecessary and avoidable issues. So instead, focus solely on your work, on your task, duties, and projects, and you will make excellent progress because Sun becomes Digbali, directionally strong in the 10th house. So naturally, it is going to be a blessing because Sun is a very good planet for Aries. It is controlling your trine house, your Kona Bhava, your Trikon Sthana. So you can make magnificent progress if you keep working hard, stay focused, and avoid unnecessary issues. Avoid gossiping, avoid backbiting, and you will do great. Now let's talk about business. In terms of business area, it is going to be an excellent month for my Aries friends. If you are running your own business, you are thinking of starting a new business, it can be quite a beneficial time. Of course, you need to make sure your natal birth chart, the Mahadasha, Antardasha, all these factors are supporting business related ventures. Because running a business involves risk, it involves money, it involves your finances, right? From a small to a large scale. So you have to make sure your natal chart supports business activities. But let's say if you have already been running a business, you have been doing well, then this month is looking to be even better. Your business lord will be transiting in the house of gains and desires and wish fulfillment. So if you wanted to kind of lock down a lucrative deal, a significant project, then it can certainly happen this month. If you are in a business partnership, you will gain a lot of support, cooperation from your business partners. All the things will run very smoothly, and you might get new business proposals, new ideas for business expansion, for growing your business, for taking it to the next level. So you should plan accordingly, start strategizing, because it is looking to be a phenomenal month for your business area. If we talk about finance, overall, a very strong month for finances is seen. There is a big yoga happening. The Lord of your wealth house will be in exaltation in the Labhasthan along with its best friend Saturn, which is the Lord of the 11th house itself. So the Lord of the 2nd and 11th are coming together, creating a very powerful yoga for your inflow of money. And then you also have Jupiter transiting in the Dhanasthan, being the Lord of the trine house of the 9th house of Bhagya and luck factor, and expanding your wealth accumulation, your savings and gains from multiple sources of income. So the financial area is looking to be very solid throughout this month. If I talk about health, then overall, the health area is also looking to be fine, because although the Lord of your Lagna, Mars, will be in retrograde motion, which means it will become stronger and stronger degree wise, it will move back to the 3rd house by the 20th of this month. And that is a very good placement by house. By house position, Mars does extremely well in the Parakram Sthan. It is the Kark house of Mangal. Only thing you need to take care of is the relationship with your siblings, specifically younger siblings. But other than that, for your health area, Jupiter's aspect also direct on the 8th house, on the 6th house, is looking to be good for you. But if you are running a Rahu Mahadasha or Antardasha, then there can be some slight hiccups here and there. You might have to get a general wellness checkup, make a visit to the hospital just to do a routine checkup. and it can be a good thing to do that, because Rahu in the 12th house is generally not a good position, but the dispositor is well placed, so the issues should be balanced for the most part. If I talk about love life, then overall the first 2 weeks are looking to be good for the most part for your love and romantic life. For single people, the first 2 weeks are much better for finding someone or getting into a relationship. But the last 2 weeks might be a bit more difficult. Even for those couples already in a relationship, there might be a lot of ups and downs you might feel with your partner in the last 2 weeks of this month. So try to work things out, try to make sure you're both on the same page so that issues unnecessarily do not kind of magnify. If I talk about marriage, it is going to be one of the best months for those people wanting to get married this month. Especially the first 2 weeks are looking phenomenal. So if you're wanting to get married, if your chart is supporting that, then certainly this transit, this Gochara transit, is looking quite good and auspicious for marriage related activities. And for those couples already married, you will experience a lot of harmony, bliss, love, romance, passion in your married life this month. So try to make the most of it. Then if we talk about education, in terms of primary education, for those students pursuing bachelor's, high school, the time is looking very good. Academically, you will do great. Just put in the hard work and effort, and you will make really good progress in your studies. In terms of higher education, for those students pursuing master's, PhD program, the time is going to be fine as long as you kind of are not distracted too much by kind of your family related affairs. So if you are pursuing a higher education program, you will need to be really focused. And if there are any family related issues kind of disturbing you, then you need to kind of prioritize things so that you can focus more on your studies and do well. But overall, the placements are looking fine, and with your hard work and effort, you can certainly make good progress in higher education area. If I talk about travel, in terms of short distance travel journeys, I will say the full month is looking good for the most part. Just try not to speed and drive your vehicle, especially in the last 10 days of this month. Drive slowly, drive cautiously, and it will be fine. In terms of long distance travel journey vacation, the time is looking to be good for the most part. With your proper planning, research, due diligence, you can certainly embark on long distance journeys. But if you're thinking of visiting a foreign country for a vacation, for your business, any other purpose, make sure that it is truly needed. Like, it is important for you to embark on that journey, because Rahu in the 12th can sometimes cause unnecessary journeys which might not be fruitful. So really make sure that you need to embark on a journey and not just desire it. So I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Aries Mesh Rashi friends for the first month of the new year, which is Jan 2025. I hope you have a wonderful start to the new year, and I wish you happy new year. For my Taurus Vrishabha Rashi friends, let's start with your career area first for the month of Jan 2025. It is going to be a phenomenal month for you career-wise for the most part. Reason being, your career lord Saturn, Shani Dev, will be transiting in your career house itself in the Upchaya Bhava, where it performs extremely well, and it is also placed in its own Mool Trikona sign Aquarius. So it doesn't get better than this. It is also in conjunction with Venus, its best friend, your Lagnesh, your ascendant lord. So this month you will be extremely career focused. You will put in all the hard work needed in order to achieve good success. And yes, you will certainly achieve success because even Jupiter is aspecting your Bhagyastan from the first house where it is Digbali. So overall, the majority of the alignment is working in your favor. But one thing is that your 12th lord, which is Mars, will be impacting your Saturn and your career house in the first 3 weeks. So this is the time where you might feel, more work related pressure, some sort of stress. So doing yoga, meditation, pranayama will be good to channel your energies in the right way to keep you calm, relaxed, and focused on your task and duties. Avoid getting into unnecessary confrontation argument with your co-workers, colleagues, and your subordinates. Try to just stay focused on your work and put in all your hard work and effort, and you will do extremely well. If you are planning to change a job, I will recommend doing so only after Mars transits to the sign of Gemini on Jan 20th. So basically, the last 10 days of this month are looking much better for giving interviews as chance of landing a new job is seen. If I talk about business area, then overall, the business area is going to be certainly highlighted. It will be very much activated because you have Jupiter aspecting your business house. You have Saturn's impact on your business house. You have the Lord of your business house, Mars, becoming retrograde or in retrograde motion and transiting to the second house of Gemini, which is its enemy sign. So this is a month where you will need to play with the status quo. Avoid taking major business financial risk. Instead, do what you have always been doing. Try to play it safe. Try not to be overconfident because that can trap you and that can result in losses. If you are in a business partnership, especially be very cautious in your dealings with your business partner in the last 10 days. Try not to get into arguments, disputes, or that could cause issues in your business partnership and lead to potential separation. But if you keep working hard, stay focused in your business area, you make calculated risk, then you can certainly see some good profits, increased revenues as well due to the ruler of your business house strongly transiting in the wealth house in retrograde fashion. And especially if you're running a business connected to foreign lands or with foreigners, then you have a higher chance of being successful. If I talk about finance, then overall the financial flow will be there, right? Because you have Rahu, the North Node, transiting in your Upchaya Bhava, the 11th house of money itself. Your financial flow will be regulating throughout the month as the dispositor is also well placed in the Lagna, right? So Jupiter is very strongly placed. So Rahu can give those type of gains. And then you also have Mars transiting in your second house. But this can overall lead to expenses as well. So make sure that you cut out unnecessary expenses and you only spend wherever it is a necessity, right? So try to save your money as the financial area is looking good. Try to make wise investments. Avoid major risky financial investments this month if possible, like penny stocks, cryptocurrency. Try to stay away from that. If I talk about health, overall the health area is looking to be quite positive throughout the month for the most part. unless you are running Saturn Mahadasha Antardasha, then there might be some slight medical expenses on the cards. You might have to get a general wellness checkup just to make sure everything is good. You might need to take your medications on time, or you might have to start some new medications. But other than that, overall, if you're running a good Mahadasha, Antardasha, then you will have sound health for the most part throughout the month. If I talk about love life, well, overall, the love life area is looking to be quite positive throughout the month. If you are single, chance of potentially, meeting someone interesting is certainly there. But it is more so in the last couple of weeks, you can say. Basically, as the month progresses, it will keep getting better for your romantic life. Jupiter's impact on your fifth house is looking very good, but you have to be a bit more patient and wait for Mercury to transit to the ninth house, uh, in the sign of Capricorn, its friendly sign, and in conjunction with Sun. This will create a beautiful yoga. So, especially after Jan 24, the time is looking quite powerful and very auspicious because Jupiter will impact the ninth house as well, and naturally aspect your fifth lord, and your fifth lord will be creating the Bhavat Bhavam activation, because it is the ruler of your fifth house and will be placed 5 places away from the fifth house that it rules, in the ninth house of Bhagya and fortune. So even for those couples in a relationship, you can experience sudden luck, sudden change of good fortune. uh, you know it will be just a much better time for you, especially in the last 2 weeks, and more so after Jan 24. So try to make the most of it. And you never know, you could think of really getting serious about each other. So that is the kind of month this is looking for the relationship area. If I talk about marriage, for people actually wanting to get married, it is it can be a good month, depending, especially if you are running Jupiter Mahadasha, then certainly it can be a decent month. But if you're running Saturn Dasha, then it can be problematic, right? So you will need to really make sure your natal chart is supporting getting married this month. But overall, looking at the Gochara transit, it is looking to be kind of, you can say, mediocre, because your marriage lord will also be in a retrograde motion, which is not the most ideal situation for marriage. So if you can avoid it, it will be better, because the better time will come in the future. If I talk about those couples already married, right, living under one roof, again, this is going to depend, the relationship and the harmony and peace will depend largely. If you are running Saturn Dasha, Antardasha, then it can be a bit of a tough time. But if you are running Jupiter Mahadasha, Jupiter Antardasha, Jupiter Mahadasha, Venus Antardasha, or Venus Mahadasha, then it can be certainly a good time for married couples as well. If I talk about education, then in terms of primary education, for those students pursuing bachelor's, high school, the last 2 weeks of this month are looking much better than the first 2 weeks. So try to work your hardest, but definitely avoid getting into arguments and disputes with anyone related to your education, whether they be higher ups, whether they be any, just kind of clerks working for your school. Try not to get entangled in any unnecessary disputes. If I talk about higher education, for those students pursuing master's, PhD program, there will be a lot of pressure on you this month in terms of your academics. But as long as you put in the hard work, stay focused, stay committed, dedicated, you will do well. If I talk about travel, in terms of short distance travel journeys, The time is looking to be good for the most part. I do not see any major concerns as such, but just try not to speed and drive your vehicle. Drive with caution. In terms of higher or in terms of long distance travel, journey, vacation, the time is looking to be good throughout the month as well. So, with your proper planning, research, due diligence, you can certainly embark on long distance travel, vacation, or journeys to even foreign countries. So, I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Taurus Vrishabha Rashi friends, and I hope you have a wonderful start to the new year 2025. For my Gemini Mithun Rashi friends, let's start with your career area for Jan 2025. Well, it is going to be mostly a good month for you. Reason being, you have Rahu, the North Node, transiting in your 10th house of career itself, which is one of the best placements for this malefic planet. It is a Upachaya Bhava, which means a growth house. So Rahu's effects will only keep getting better and better as the time progresses. But the dispositor of Rahu, Jupiter, is in the 12th house, right? So 12th house is a Trig Bhava. It is not an auspicious house, but Jupiter is in a good sign of Taurus, right? And the dispositor of Taurus, Venus, will be transiting practically all month long in your Bhagyastan. So overall, the timeline is looking to be positive as long as you play your cards right, as long as you make the right decisions and not take any impulsive, hasty life decisions connected to your career. If you are working in a foreign country, in a place away from your homeland, then it is going to be a much better time for you. Because the Lord of your career house is transiting in the 12th, which is foreign lands. And Rahu itself is a planet which denotes foreigners, different cultures, different religions, backgrounds, the west part of the globe. So especially if you're working in the US, Canada, UK, if you're originally from, Southeast Asia or South Asia, then it is going to be a much fruitful and better time for you. It can also be a good time for a job change if you so desire that. If you are absolutely unhappy in your current job, then definitely it doesn't hurt to explore different alternatives, different options, because 12th house is the house of loss. But one loss will lead to a new gain, right? So a new window of opportunity can open up, which can provide a much kind of, enjoyable job where you don't have that much stress, you are more relaxed, and you are able to work more productively. And it can also be a good time to think, outside the box, try to bring unconventional ideas, on process efficiency improvement at the workplace, which can get noticed by the higher ups and can get you the recognition that you desire. And it can also be a good time to try something new in life if you're at that juncture where you have some hidden talents, skills, and you want to just do something different. You want to portray those talents. You want to start a side gig. Then it can be a good time to explore such avenues. If I talk about business, overall, if you are running a business connected to, again, foreign lands, foreigners, different cultures, import, export, right? That type of business, even if the import export is connected to apparel, dress, t-shirts, any kind of luxury items, furniture, beauty and fashion wear, then the chance of the business doing well is seen. There can be a lot of expenses involved as well, But those expenses can be fruitful if you reinvest that back in your business to help it grow at a future date. So think long term when it comes to your business area and you will do great. But it is not the right time to get into a new business partnership unless your birth chart and that individual's birth chart is matching well and all other factors being equal. If I talk about finance, overall, the financial flow will be stronger this month. Reason being, the Lord of your finances, Mars, will be very powerful as it will become retrograde and transit from your Dhanasthan to your Lagna itself. But Mars also rules your sixth house, which means there could be some expenses connected to health issues, to paying off some loans, paying off some debt, right? Or maybe you might join a new class like a fitness class. You might take up a new activity like piano lessons, but that will require money. That will require you to spend. But the inflow of money will also be there because your fifth lord Venus will also be in the ninth house, creating the Bhavad Bhavam activation. So overall, just make wise investments and you will do great in your finances. If I talk about health, as I mentioned just that Mars will be retrograding and moving back in your own sign of Gemini. So do take care of your health, especially in the last 10 days of this month. Your sixth house is also impacted by Saturn. So if you are running Saturn Mahadasha or Antardasha, you are running Mars Mahadasha or Antardasha, you need to be more careful when it comes to your health area. You need to be careful with your head region, your chest region, even your stomach area. Try to eat the right kind of food, have a good balanced diet. Try not to eat too much spicy food, or it could give some digestive related issues. But overall, if you take good care of your health, you will be fine. If I talk about love life, in terms of the love and romantic area, the time is looking excellent throughout the month because the Lord of your fifth house, Venus, will be in the ninth house, in the Bhagyasthan, along with its best friend Saturn, the Lord of your Bhagyasthan itself. So single people have a strong chance of meeting someone, and it could be through electronic media, it could be through long distance traveling, maybe at the airport. So there are multiple options here, multiple avenues which will be activated and can result in meeting someone nice and possibly getting into a relationship. And the same thing applies for those couples already in a relationship. A lot of love, harmony, peace, more commitment, more honesty, more trust will be increased in your relationship. Your trust level and bonding will, grow like anything. And it can be a great time for you to go and do some long distance traveling, go on a nice vacation, go on a cruise with your partner. It can help to reignite the missing spark if it was lost in recent times. If I talk about marriage, for those people wanting to get married, it is not a good time for single people wanting to lock things down and get married. It is not the right time this month. Your marriage lord Jupiter is in the 12th house, right? In the Vayasthan. It is also retrograde. So it is not the right time for marriage. Let me just put it that way. And if we talk about married couples, there will be a lot of bed pleasure activity, lot of love, romance, passion, for sure. Your seventh lord in the 12th house, and that too in the sign of Venus. So the sensuality and all those things will be there, will be at a peak. But you cannot ignore there will be ups and downs in your relationship as well. The pendulum will keep swinging throughout the month. But if you truly care and love your spouse, then try to make it work. If I talk about education, in terms of primary education for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, the time in the first 3 weeks is looking to be very positive, and you can make very good progress. In the last week or so, it is going to be a bit more tough. In terms of higher education for those students pursuing master's PhD program, there will be some pressure on you academically, but with your hard work effort, you will do excellent. Just do not give in to temptations and distractions, and you will perform very well in your examination, in your thesis, in your defense, in your research, whatever area it might be. Finally, travel. In terms of short distance travel journeys, the time is not looking that great, especially in the last 2 weeks of this month. So if you can avoid too much kind of long distance or short distance travel, it will be better for you. In terms of long distance travel journey vacation, the time is looking good for the most part throughout the month. So you can certainly embark on the same, but do your proper research due diligence before going on major long distance travel. I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Gemini Mithun Rashi friends, and I hope you have a very nice start to the new year 2025. For my Cancer Karka Rashi friends, let's talk about the first month of 2025 in regards to your career. It is going to be slightly sensitive, especially the last 10 days of Jan 2025. You will have to be very cautious. Reason being, your career lord Mars will be in retrograde motion, and for the first 19 days it will be in debilitation, and then eventually it will move back to the 12th house of loss and expenses. The 12th house is a Trik Bhava, right? It is a malefic house. And then you also have Saturn, the lord of your 8th, aspecting your 10th house with its Neech Drishti, with a debilitated strong enemy aspect. And then there is no protective aspect of Jupiter on your career house. So this month you will have to be very cautious. You will avoid being very hasty or impulsive. Otherwise, it can cause you losses in regards to your job. Possibility of sudden loss of job can also be there. Just giving you a heads up, especially in the last 10 days. And if you are running the Mars Mahadasha or Saturn Mahadasha or the Antardashas of these planets, or even the Rahu Dasha or Antardasha, then the probability increases. But if you're running Jupiter Dasha, right, or you are running Sun Dasha or Antardasha, then the situation should be balanced and saved to an extent. But even if the possibility of job loss is there, do not worry, because when there is a loss of something, when something is, you can say, destroyed, there is a new creation. There is a start of something new. A new window of opportunity opens up. And Jupiter finally is in your 11th house of gains, right? Wish fulfillment, desire. So there's always going to be new opportunities come your way. But the best rule of thumb this month is be very focused and very kind of, focused and committed to your duties, tasks, and projects. And that way you will avoid any unnecessary situations. If I talk about business area, then overall this area is looking a bit more positive. You have Jupiter's impact on your business house, and then you also have the Mercury Sun combination and conjunction in the latter part of the month, which should be good for the most part, as Sun is controlling your Dhanastan, will be transiting in the 7th along with Mercury. So sudden profits, increased revenues can be there, can be seen from your business area. But try not to get into unnecessary arguments, disputes with your business partners if you are in a business partnership. Also, avoid getting into any kind of legal issues with the government authorities, or try not to break any rules, any policies. Try not to overlook things if they are reported to your HR. Make sure that everything is handled according to procedure. Otherwise, there could be some repercussions down the road. If I talk about finance, then overall, the financial area is looking mediocre this month. The reason being, your main planet of incoming financial flow, Venus, will be transiting in the 8th house, which is not an ideal situation. But from the 8th, it will aspect the 2nd. So in a way, it will try to help you accumulate and save some money. Just try to make wise financial investments, and definitely avoid risky investments like cryptocurrency, penny stocks, at least this month if possible, as your 5th house is impacted by Saturn in not a good way, and the ruler of the 5th will be transiting eventually in the 12th by the end of the month. So be very careful with risky speculative financial investments. If I talk about health area, then overall the health area is going to be okay, not too great, not terrible either. Try not to ignore any type of acute health issues, and make sure to get things checked up in a timely manner, because Mars retrograding and impacting your 6th house can bring up some potential health issues. But as long as you are running a good Mahadasha, Antardasha, you are taking good care of your health, you should be fine. If I talk about love life, then for single people, if you are running the Jupiter Mahadasha, then it can be a great time for potentially meeting someone and thinking of a relationship. But still, this month is looking a bit weak in general, because the 5th lord, as I said, will be in retrograde motion and will transit eventually to the 12th house of loss and expenses. You also have Saturn's enemy Drishti on the 5th house. So better to be a bit more patient and wait for a more auspicious time. For couples already in a relationship, there will be some ups and downs you will feel, especially in the latter part of the month. But if you truly care for your partner, then try to make it work, compromise, be loyal, faithful, and the relationship will weather the storm. If I talk about marriage, for those people actually wanting to get married, the time can be good. Again, it depends on your Mahadasha and Antardasha. Because if you're running Jupiter, then yes, Jupiter's impact is on your 7th house. It is a good aspect. And if all other factors being equal, it can lead to marriage. But if you're running Saturn Mahadasha, then you have to be a bit more careful. If you are running Mars Mahadasha, you have to be a bit more careful. And all other factors need to be analyzed before getting married. If I talk about those couples already married, then there can be some slight ups and downs in your marriage area if you are running Saturn Dasha, because Saturn, the lord of the marriage house, will be transiting in the 8th. But it still won't be that bad, because it will be conjunct with Venus, which is a very good planet. It is the natural planet or Karaka of marriage. It is a Shubha Graha. So the situation won't be that bad. But if you are running Mars Dasha or Sun Mahadasha or Antardasha, then there can be more fire element that will be felt in your married life. So try to work things accordingly. If I talk about education in terms of primary education for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, it will require immense effort on your part to get good grades in your studies. And if I talk about higher education for those students pursuing master's PhD program, the time is looking good, but you will be faced with a lot of distractions, lot of temptations. If you keep those aside and if you're really going to not be swayed by those temptations and you're going to be fully focused on your studies, then you will perform very well. If I talk about travel, in terms of short distance travel journeys, the last 2 weeks of this month are looking a bit more better than the first 2 weeks, but overall still the entire month is looking fine. No major concerns. In terms of long distance travel journey vacation, the time is also looking good for the most part, as long as you are really needing or it is a necessity to embark on the long distance travel. But try not to unnecessarily just go and go on some long distance voyages or journeys, because it might not be fruitful, as Rahu is placed in your ninth house. So do your due diligence and then only embark on major long distance travel. So I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Cancer Karka Rashi friends, and I hope you have a good start to the new year. For my Leo Simha Rashi friends, let's discuss your career area for the month of Jan 2025. It is going to be a very positive time for you professionally this month. Reason being, your career lord Venus will be transiting in the 7th house along with its best friend Saturn. So the dispositor of Venus will be strongly placed, and so will be the dispositor of Jupiter, which is transiting in your career house itself. So naturally, Jupiter being a very good planet for your sign, being a naturally Shubha Graha, and the planet of expansion, prosperity, success, opportunities, can certainly help you in your career area this month. But you need to think practically. You need to be very business minded when it comes to your job this month, because there will be some temptations, some kind of distractions that might come your way. If you're already working in a good company, but a lot of recruiters might still keep messaging you, calling you, and proposing new job opportunities, but then you will have to have the discernment to think whether changing a job is the right thing for you to do, because loyalty is sometimes paid a lot in maybe not monetary terms, but it can give you the job security and stability that everyone desires. Because even though a person might get a new job with a much higher salary benefits package, they might suddenly be let go from that job in a matter of days. It happens. But if you've already been working for a good company for a long time, and they have been appreciating you, then it can be a better idea to stay in that company, because Venus will be conjunct with Saturn, which rules tradition, which rules discipline, which values honesty, right? So it is a conservative planet. So better to be stay put where you are, keep working hard, and you will make really good progress and get the credit and recognition in the same place. Overall, your leadership skills will start to shine, and your work-life balance will also see some good changes. If I talk about business, then it is going to be an excellent month for your business area. If you're running a business with your communication ability, using social media, using electronic means, you can start to rapidly gain traction in selling your products or services, or whatever you're offering. Maybe it's consultancy services, maybe it's actual products, maybe it's any staffing solutions, maybe it's any agency placement thing that you are running. You can start to see more profits, more revenues, more increased motion in your business activities. If you are in a business partnership, then you will start to see more support, more kind of endearment from your business partner. You will start to feel a sense of brotherhood or sisterhood, whatever it might be. Your bonding with your business partner will increase, which will help you guys to perform better. Overall, the time is looking quite positive for your business area. If I talk about finance, then the financial area is strong, especially through career area. So as I said before, if you're already in a good company, chance of getting a bonus, promotion, or a salary increment can be seen this month. Of course, considering your Mahadasha, Antardasha, your natal birth chart placements, the nakshatra placements, and all other factors being equal. But try to save that money. Try to not take any major loans this month if possible. Instead, try to make wise financial investments. And if you already have loans, try to pay off those loans as fast as possible. If I talk about health, then overall, the health area is going to be good, you can say, for the most part, as long as you take good care, you eat the right diet, exercise, yoga, meditation, just the common sense everyday things. And that way you will be, maintaining good health for the most part. If I talk about love life, then overall the first 12 days are looking quite positive for your love and romantic life. If you're single, chances of meeting someone could be there because you will be more proactive and you will put yourself out there in terms of dating. If I talk about couples already in a relationship, the time is looking to be good for the most part, but there might be a bit of a fire element present, especially in the last 10 days or so. Try not to get into unnecessary arguments, disputes with your partner, or it could lead to some more issues down the road. So try to minimize that fire element. If I talk about marriage, in terms of single people wanting to get married this month, it is looking to be a phenomenal time. It is looking to be a positive time. So if your natal chart is supporting that, then the Graha Gochara is also supporting it. The natural Kark of marriage, Venus, along with Saturn in Saturn's Mool Trikon, is a positive indication. But yes, you will have Mars aspecting your marriage house at least in the first 3 weeks. So make sure to do the matching of horoscopes and these kind of things to ensure possibility of a successful married life is higher. If I talk about those couples already married, then overall the passion, love, romance will definitely be on the rise. You will enjoy the company of your spouse and you will have a lot of good quality memorable time this month with your partner. So if I talk about education in terms of primary education, for those students pursuing bachelor's, high school, the time is looking to be a bit tough this month, especially the first 3 weeks. So make sure to not get distracted and completely focus on your studies if you want to do well. And the same applies for higher education. Similarly, in the first 3 weeks, it is going to be quite a tough time for students pursuing master's, PhD program. So you will need to put in a lot of hard work and effort to achieve any sort of results that you desire. If I talk about travel, in terms of short distance travel journeys, the time is looking to be quite good throughout the month. So you can certainly embark on the same. In terms of long distance travel journey vacation, especially to foreign lands, the time is not looking good this month. So if you can avoid going on major long distance travel, it will be better for you. So I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Leo Simha Rashi friends, and I hope you have a beautiful start to the new year 2025. All the best. For my Virgo Kanya Rashi friends, let's talk about your career area for the first month in the new year. It is going to be a mixed bag result, you can say. The first 2 weeks are going to be quite good and progressive, as the Lord of your Lagna and the ruler of your career house, Mercury, will be very positively transiting. First in the fourth, from where it will aspect the career house itself, and then in the fifth, and will be in conjunction with Sun, creating the Budh Aditya Yoga. So this will be very positive. But especially after the 20th, you have the Lord of your 8th, the Ashtam Bhava, Mars, retrograding and transiting in your career house itself, and that too in the enemy sign of Gemini. So Mars is a strong malefic for Gemini, for Virgo people, right? So especially in the last 10 days of this month, you have to be very cautious in your career area, in your professional life. Avoid getting into any sort of arguments, disputes with your colleagues, subordinates, higher ups. Avoid gossiping, backbiting. Avoid suddenly changing jobs. Avoid applying for promotion, bonus, salary increment. Instead, just be calm and stay focused on your job duties and tasks. And that way, you can somehow ride through the turbulent time. But the first 3 weeks, for the most part, the first, you can say 19 days at least, are looking to be quite positive. So try to make the most of it. But best not to change jobs this month if possible. If I talk about business area, then it is not a positive time for business related activities, because you have Rahu transiting in your business house, and the dispositor is retrograde, activating to an extent the 8th house. So if you are running a business, you need to just stick with the status quo, keep doing what you have always been doing. Try not to jump into new ventures, try not to take new business loans, try not to get into new business partnerships. It is not the month to think of business expansion, to think of doing major business deals. You have to be more patient and wait for a better time. If I talk about finance, overall, the financial area is going to be fine, as the Lord of your wealth house, Venus, will be well placed along with Saturn in the 6th, which means there could be some relief in the area of loans. Maybe the interest rate could change in your favor, which can help you to accumulate more money. Or it can mean for those people who are running a good Mahadasha, Antardasha, they could get a sudden bonus, promotion, or salary increment in their job, especially in the first 19 days of this month. So try to save your money as much as possible, and try not to take any new loans around this time, as it might not work out for you in the long run. If I talk about health area, then overall the health area is going to be a bit sensitive after the 20th of Jan. Reason being, you have Mars, which will be directionally very powerful in the 10th house and will aspect your Lagna. It will also aspect your Lagnesh Mercury. So it controlling your 8th house is going to impact these kind of things. So basically, do not neglect any chronic health issues. If something was to bother you, make sure to get that checked up in a timely manner before things get out of hand. If I talk about love life, for single people wanting to get into a new relationship, this month can bring some opportunities, as the natural Kark of love, romance, sensuality, Venus, is going to be conjunct with your 5th lord, and then there will be the Budh Aditya Yoga in your 5th house. So You also have Jupiter's impact on your fifth along with Mars later in the month. So you will of course need to analyze your chart, your Mahadasha, Antardasha to get more pinpointed results. But overall, the Gochara transit is looking fairly decent for getting into a relationship. But still use your due diligence. In terms of those couples already in a relationship, there will be some arguments, some kind of quarrels here and there that you will experience, but it should be managed for the most part and it should not get out of hand. If I talk about marriage in terms of single people wanting to get married this month, it is not a good month to get married. And even for married couples, be very cautious in your married life. Be very upfront, be very transparent with your spouse. Do not do things behind your partner's back. Do not go cheat. Do not, be dishonest. Be loyal, be caring, be loving towards your spouse. And if genuinely things are not working, then be honest about it. But do not do things intentionally behind your partner's back or your spouse's back, as that will have severe repercussions in due time. You have Rahu transiting in the marriage house. So be careful. If I talk about education, in terms of primary education for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, the time is looking quite good throughout the month and you will make good progress. In terms of higher education, for those students pursuing master's PhD program, the timeline is looking quite good throughout the month. With your hard work, effort, and with your competitive ability, you will make really good progress academically. Finally, travel. In terms of short distance travel journeys, the time is looking mediocre. Try not to speed and drive your vehicle and you will be fine. In terms of long distance travel journey and vacation, the time is looking a bit more favorable, and with your proper planning, due diligence, you can certainly think of embarking on long distance journeys. I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Virgo Kanya Rashi friends. I hope you have a wonderful start to the new year 2025 and I wish you well. For my Libra Tula Rashi friends, let's discuss your career area first for Jan 2025. Professionally, it is going to be mostly a good month for you. Reason being, there are going to be no major afflictions to your career house as such. And then you will also have the Budh Aditya Yoga in your fourth house, from where both Mercury and Sun, which are the natural Karakas of the 10th house, aspecting the career bhava itself. So especially the last 2 weeks are looking more promising than the first 2 weeks. If you don't have a job, I highly recommend use this month to your advantage. Give lots of interviews, as there is a decent chance you can land a new job opportunity with a good salary and benefits package. In the last 2 weeks, your overall leadership skills will start to shine. People will start to notice you because Sun's Digbali Drishti will be impacting your career house. So naturally, it can help you to get more recognition, more fame, more prestige in your career area. If I talk about business, overall, business area is looking to be a bit more sensitive this month. So be very cautious in your business related dealings. Because although your business Lord Mars will be very powerful in the first 3 weeks, it will be directionally very strong, as well as it will be in retrograde motion. So naturally it will be very powerful. But you must not forget that Saturn's strong malefic impact will be on your business house. And finally, Mars will also be in its debilitation sign of Cancer, and then it will eventually move to the enemy sign of Gemini in a retrograde motion. So try to play with the status quo. Try not to take major financial business risk. Try not to get into new business partnerships this month. Do not think about business expansion. Instead, try to focus on what you have been doing and try to do it 10 times better. try to work and fine tune your workflow efficiency, what can be done here and there, which can help to maximize your profits and minimize your expenses. So it is more about bookkeeping. It is more about thinking logically and practically about what is best for your business, taking calculated small scale business risk and avoiding major risk in general. If I talk about finance, then overall the financial area is going to be good. Like you will have good inflow of money throughout the month, but the problem is about the wealth accumulation, because if you don't play your cards right, there are chances of sudden loss of wealth as well. But overall, you still have Jupiter's impact on your second. Your second lord will be strong. So the situation should be mediocre to good for the most part. And if you are running a good Mahadasha, Antardasha, then lo and behold, you will do very well in your finances this month. If I talk about health area, you have Rahu in the 6th, Jupiter in the 8th, and you also have your Lagnesh in the 5th. So this situation is looking to be good for the most part in regards to your health area. Try not to ignore health related issues connected to the lower part of your abdomen, and try not to ignore any sort of chronic health issues. If something was to bother you, make sure to get that checked up in a timely manner. But overall, if you take good care of your health, I do not see any major concerns. If I talk about love life, for single people wanting to get into a relationship, the entire month is looking very auspicious for the most part, and there are going to be ample opportunities to possibly meet new people and even think of getting into a relationship with someone you vibe well with, because you have this beautiful conjunction of your Lagnesh, of your ascendant lord Venus, along with Saturn, the lord of the 5th house, in the 5th bhava itself. For those couples already in a relationship, try to avoid getting into arguments, especially in the first 3 weeks. But overall, if you're on the same page with your partner, then you are going to have a jolly good time this month. If I talk about marriage in terms of single people wanting to get married, this month can be quite tempting for marriage. You might think of getting married, but ideally it is not the right time for marriage related activities. Your marriage lord Mars will be in debilitation, followed by transiting to the enemy sign, also in retrograde motion. You will have Saturn's impact of a very malefic impact on the marriage house, so better to delay it a bit more. In terms of those couples already married, the time can be filled with some ups and downs, some hurdles, obstacles in your married life. But if you truly care for your spouse, try to make it work, as it will be worth it in the time to come. If I talk about education for single people, for those people pursuing bachelor's and high school, the time is looking to be very good throughout the month, and you will make very good progress in your studies. If I talk about higher education, for those students pursuing master's, PhD program, the time is going to be strongly activated by Mars, especially in the last 10 days. Try not to take any decisions in haste. If you are giving any examinations, try not to rush, in your papers. Be cautious, be calm, be slow, as that will be in your favor. If I talk about travel, in terms of short distance travel journeys, the time is not looking that great. So if you can avoid too much short distance traveling and instead work like a hybrid job or a remote job, it will be better for you. If I talk about long distance travel, journey, vacation, the first 20 days are looking good, and the last 10 days or so are not looking that favorable. So but if you have to if you have to travel on very long distance journeys, then make sure to do your proper planning, research and due diligence, and do not take any impulsive hasty decisions in the same. I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Libra friends, and I hope you have a great start to the new year 2025. All the best. For my Scorpio Vrishika Rashi friends, let's talk about your career area for the first month in the new year. It is going to be mostly a positive month for you professionally. Reason being, your career Lord Sun will be well placed for the most part throughout the month. In the first 2 weeks, it will be in the second house, which is the house of wealth. It is an auspicious house. And then it will transit to the third, where Sun is known to give very good results, as third house is the Parakram Bhav. It is a growth house. It is a Upchaya Sthan. There it will also be conjunct with Mercury, which will be quite auspicious. So with your hard work, effort, commitment, dedication, you can definitely stand out amongst the crowd and do very well in your career area. But do not ignore the fact that Saturn's direct malefic impact will also be there on your career area. So try not to get into unnecessary quarrels, arguments, disputes with your subordinates. Instead, try to maintain the peace. Try to provide cooperation with the people you work with. Stay focused on your goals, tasks, duties, on your projects, and you will make good progress throughout the month. If I talk about business area, then overall, business area is looking to be good for the most part. You have Jupiter, which will be transiting in your business house. So naturally, it can provide good opportunities, chances of business expansion. And then you also see that your business lord, Venus, will be directionally very strong, Digbali, in the fourth house, along with good friend Saturn. So that is basically good news for increasing your profits, revenues, especially if you're conducting your business in your home country, in your native land. It can also be a great time for you if you're thinking about a business partnership. You can approach maybe your close friend like that you grew up with from childhood. You could look into approaching such friends, such connections from the past who might also have an interest in helping you to grow your business. Of course, you will need to make sure your horoscopes match and are complementary with each other to support business related activities. But with your hard work, dedication, with your business subject matter expertise, you will do what is best for your business and you will make decent progress. If I talk about finance, then overall, the financial area, especially in the first 3 weeks, is looking quite powerful, and there will be good wealth accumulation, growth in savings. Your bank balance will start to become stronger. Your gains from different sources of income can be there. Try to avoid risky speculative financial investments at all costs this month. You have Rahu transiting in your fifth house, so naturally you must be wary of such risky investments like cryptocurrency, penny stocks, because the dispositor Jupiter, although in the seventh house in Taurus, it is not a bad placement, but still it is a weak placement because Jupiter gains directional strength in the first house. So naturally opposite is the place where it loses considerable strength. If I talk about health, then overall, in regards to health area, this month needs a bit more caution. You have Mars controlling your ascendant, which will be in retrograde motion throughout the month and transiting to the 8th house in the enemy sign of Gemini. So avoid ignoring or neglecting any acute or chronic health issues, and make sure to get things checked up if if you feel like it. But getting a general wellness checkup semi-annually or annually is always a good thing. If I talk about love life, then in regards to single people wanting to find a partner, it is not the best time for it, because you have Rahu in your fifth house and the dispositor is a bit weak. So it might be a wise idea to wait for a more suitable time. For those couples already in a relationship, it is very important for you to be loyal, honest with your partner, to be very transparent, to keep the communication going, and to ensure that you don't do things behind your partner's back, or it can have some troublesome consequences. If I talk about marriage, for single people wanting to get married, the time is looking good for the most part throughout the month. And if you're running a good Mahadasha, your natal chart is supporting the same, then marriage can definitely be there and can be seen this month. If I talk about those couples already married, they will experience a lot of harmony, bliss. If there was stress in the married life, stress in the relationship, it can be alleviated to a great extent, and you will start to feel more peaceful internally, more happy. The bonding, love will naturally increase with your spouse. If you are residing with your spouse in a foreign land, it can be a good month for you to take a nice vacation back to the homeland and meet the family, spend some quality time back in your home country. If I talk about education, in terms of primary education, for those students pursuing bachelor's and high school, the time is looking good throughout the month and you will make very good progress. In terms of higher education, for those students pursuing master's, PhD program, the time is good as long as you're willing to put in the hard work and effort, because there will be a lot of competition that you will feel this month. But it can be good if you are of a competitive nature and you're ready to stand up to the challenge, you can do quite well. Finally, travel. In terms of short distance travel journeys, the time is looking to be good throughout the month. I do not see any major concerns. Just try not to speed and drive your vehicle. And the same applies for long distance travel, journey, and vacation. And if it is international travel, then I will recommend, if you can go in the last week of this month, like to a foreign country for like international long distance travel, journey, or vacation, it will be better for you. I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Scorpio Vrishik Rashi friends, and I hope you have a wonderful start to the new year. Thanks for watching. For my Sagittarius Dhanu Rashi friends, let's discuss your career area for Jan 2025, and then we will talk about the other areas of life. Starting with career, it is going to be mostly a good month for you. Reason being, your Lagnesh, your ascendant lord Jupiter, is going to impact your career house all month long. So you will have the blessings and the protection and support of Jupiter itself. Your career lord Mercury will also be quite well placed throughout the month. First in the first house itself, in Digbali Avastha, it will be quite strong in the ascendant, and then it will transit to the friendly sign of Capricorn in your second house, where it will be conjunct with great friend Sun. So overall, it is a month of good progress, of good benefits, of good gains from your job. Just you have to maintain some caution in the last 10 days when Mars will transit to the 7th and impact your 10th house. That will not be such a good aspect. And so avoiding confrontations, unnecessary arguments, disputes, quarrels will be the right strategy for you this month. If I talk about business, then overall, the business area is looking to be quite positive, you can say, in the first 23 days. So you can say the first 3 weeks, the business area is looking positive because the business Lord Mercury will aspect the business house itself. So naturally, it will try to bring out all the positive signification of that house. Even in the last week or so, in the last 10 days, when Mars will be impacting your business house, it can be a good time for those people running businesses in kind of the defense industry, in the sports fitness industry, in any kind of, providing security services. Those kind of businesses can do well in the last 10 days. In the first 3 weeks, Mercury oriented businesses, especially accounting, financial services, any communication related type, any kind of consultancy type of business can be, can do very well. So, even for business partnerships, it can be a good month in the first 19-20 days. But in the last 10 days or so, definitely avoid getting into new business partnerships, avoid getting into new business deals, ventures. Instead, try to play it a bit safe as the month keeps progressing. So the first 2 to 3 weeks, you can take calculated risk, but in the last week or so, you have to play it more safe. If I talk about finance, then overall the financial area is looking to be good as long as you are willing to put in the hard work and effort. Through hard work, effort, dedication, and commitment will naturally come the gains that you are looking for. Avoid heavy speculative investments this month if possible. Otherwise, chance of loss is definitely possible. If I talk about health, then overall the health area is bringing up some attention. You will need to take good care of your health, avoid overexertion, eat the right kind of food. Exercising will be good, although no major issues are seen as such. Do not neglect health issues, especially connected to your stomach region, to your abdomen area, especially you can say the upper part of the abdomen. If I talk about love life, then for single people, it is not such a great month in terms of finding a new relationship or a new person. It is not favorable. Your fifth house will be impacted in a malefic way. Your fifth lord will also not be in the most auspicious placements. So better to be more cautious than jumping into a relationship. For those couples already in a relationship, the time will be filled with ups and downs. There can be some serious arguments, disputes, quarrels. So you will need to make it work if you truly like your partner. If I talk about marriage in terms of single people wanting to get married, the first 19 days or so are looking to be quite good for single people getting married. The time is supportive and auspicious. In the last 10 days or so, definitely not the right time for marriage. So best to delay it a bit more. For married couples, those who are already married in a marriage, the first 19 days, again, looking very harmonious. The communication will be on the next level. You will be very transparent with your partner, with your spouse, and, the quality of your married life will be high. But in the last 10 days or so, the fire element in your communication will increase, which means it can lead to quarrels, arguments, disputes. So think accordingly and then act. If I talk about education in terms of primary education for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, the time will be a bit tough, filled with a lot of temptation, distractions. So avoid the same if you want to do well in your studies. If I talk about higher education for those students pursuing master's PhD program, the time is looking to be good in the first 2 weeks of this month and not so much in the last 2 weeks. So prioritize accordingly. If I talk about travel in terms of short distance travel journeys, The time is looking excellent throughout the month and no issues are foreseen. In terms of long distance travel, journey, vacation, the time is a bit more sensitive, especially in the last 2 weeks. So think twice before embarking on major long distance travel. And I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Sagittarius friends. And I hope you have a nice start to the new year 2025. Thanks for watching. For my Capricorn Makar Rashi friends, let's talk about your career area first and then we will discuss the other areas of life. Looking at the professional domain this month, it is looking to be phenomenal. Reason being, your career lord, which is Venus, is a Yoga Karaka planet for your sign as it controls a Trikon and a Kendra Bhava, and it will be transiting with your ascendant lord Lagnesh Saturn itself in the second house of wealth in the Mool Trikon of Saturn. So the dispositor of Venus will be very strong, and that means you will have a full month of good progression and achievement at your workplace. But since it is conjunct with Saturn, you will definitely have to put in the hard work and effort, but it will not go unnoticed. You will start to get the credit, respect, and recognition for the same. If you don't have a job, I highly recommend this is an excellent month for you to apply and give lots of interviews because landing a new job definitely seems a possibility. So make the most use of it. If I talk about business, then overall the business area is looking to be good throughout this month because especially in the second half of the month or the latter half, you have the Budh Aditya Yoga in the first house and both Mercury and Sun impacting your business house, which is a good thing because Mercury is the natural Kark, the significator of business, and you have Sun also impacting your business house, which is the ruler of the 8th. So sudden unexpected positive changes can happen, especially if you are running a very favorable Mahadasha Antardasha and if Sun is well placed in your chart. Because 8th house is the house of sudden unexpected gains that can come your way. But to see the other side as well, sudden unexpected challenging situations can also happen. So you need to play your cards right and you need to kind of stick with the status quo. Avoid taking unnecessary business related risk this month if possible, and especially avoid getting into any sort of disputes, any sort of entanglements with the authority figures, with the higher ups, whether it is government related, whether it is, you're dealing with any big corporations. Try not to kind of challenge them. Try not to take them on, right? Try to just play it safe and try to keep working on your own business and trying to expand it and make it big in the coming future. But this month you will need to play it as safe as possible, but overall you will still do decent. If I talk about finance, then it is going to be mostly a good month for you unless you are running both like Saturn Mahadasha Antardasha, then it can be a slow month financially, but otherwise it can be a very positive month in terms of wealth accumulation, savings, bank balance going up, increased inflow of money from multiple sources of income, from your past speculative investments, from sudden unexpected sources. So financial stability is going to be stronger this month for my Capricorn friends. But still, try not to make any major risky speculative investments like cryptocurrency, penny stocks, because you are still under the influence of the Sade Sati. So you need to still be a bit safe in terms of financial investments. If I talk about health, then overall, in regards to health area, for the most part, your health is going to be good. I do not see any major concerns as such, but I will say Try not to ignore any health issues, especially of acute or chronic nature in the last 2 weeks of this month. And if something was to bother you, make sure to get that checked up in a timely manner. But as long as you eat the right kind of food, take good care of your health, exercise, yoga, meditation, it will be just fine. Love life, in terms of those single people wanting to get into a relationship, the time is looking very good this month. Certainly, a lot of opportunities can open up for single people to hopefully connect with someone and vibe well and think of getting into a relationship. In terms of those couples already in a relationship, you will experience a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness, a lot of good, memorable time with your partner. You might go to a nice restaurant, eat good food, just spend a lot of good quality time with your partner, and that will make you very happy. If I talk about marriage, in terms of single people wanting to get married this month, if overall your Mahadasha, Antardasha, it's good, your natal chart is supporting marriage activity, then this transit is also looking fine for marriage area, especially in the first 2 weeks of this month. The last 2 weeks are not that favorable, as the 8th Lord will be aspecting your marriage house. For married couples already, who are living together in under one roof, it is going to be mostly a pleasant time. Although, if you're hiding something from your partner, those things can suddenly creep up unexpectedly in the last 2 weeks. So try to be as transparent as possible, as honest as possible with your spouse, with your partner, and it will be the best thing for you. Education, in terms of primary education for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, the time is going to be tough this month. So you will need to really study hard to get good grades. In terms of higher education, for those students pursuing master's PhD program, the time is looking excellent throughout the month. You can make very good academic progress. And for those students who are aspiring to get admission to a foreign land, to a college in a foreign country, there is a strong chance it can happen, especially if you are running the Jupiter Mahadasha or Mercury Antardasha or Mercury Mahadasha, Jupiter Antardasha. These sort of combinations, even the Rahu Dasha, it can trigger an event for you to relocate to a foreign country and start, studying at the university that you always wanted to, pursue. So if we talk about travel, in terms of short distance travel journeys, the time is looking good and positive for the most part, but try to avoid unnecessary short distance travel. Travel only if you need to, because Rahu in the third can sometimes cause the illusion of needing to constantly travel when there is in fact no need to. In terms of long distance travel journey and vacation, the time is looking to be positive throughout the month, so you can certainly think of embarking on the same. If you had kind of put aside any long distance travel which was important for you, for your business, for marriage, for family, or whatever, a higher education, it will be a good month for you to embark on such voyages. So I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Capricorn Makar Rashi friends for the new month of Jan 2025 in the new year. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you have a wonderful start to the new year. For my Aquarius Kumbha Rashi friends, let's talk about your career area first for Jan 2025, and then we will dive into the other areas of life. Looking at the professional domain, it is going to be a mixed bag result. Reason being, your career lord Mars, the most important planet concerning your career, will be in a retrograde motion throughout the month. And first it will be in its debilitation sign of Cancer, and then it will move back to the enemy sign of Gemini. So both these placements are not really that favorable, you can say, because first of all, a retrograde motion is not the natural movement for a planet like Mars. So it is kind of moving in a way which is not in its typical nature, but it is very strong, right? Because retrograde planets are stronger planets. But then again, it will be, in the debilitation sign of Cancer and enemy sign of Gemini, which means you will have to be very cautious this month, especially in regards to your communication, how you communicate with your subordinates, with your co-workers, with your colleagues, with your bosses, with your authority figures. Because if you come off as too brash, or if you come off as too kind of, very blunt, it can be taken in the wrong way and can create a lot of misunderstandings at the workplace. Because Saturn's impact is also there with the 10th aspect on your career house, which is a enemy aspect. But the one good grace here is Jupiter, which is controlling your 11th house of gains and benefits from the career area, is directly impacting your career house. So it will try to save the situation to a great extent. Unless you are running the Mahadasha of Saturn or Mars, then you have to maintain more caution, or even of Sun, then it can be a bit more problem. But if you're running fairly, like a Venus Dasha or Jupiter Mahadasha, or even maybe a Mercury Dasha, it can be an okay situation. So just stay focused on your duties, tasks, projects, keep working hard, stay out of trouble, stay away from politics, gossiping, backbiting, and you will do fine. It is not the best time for a career change or a job change this month. Definitely not, applying for a promotion, bonus, salary increment. It will have to wait for a later date. Business. If you look at the business area, the first 2 weeks are looking to be a bit more positive as compared to the last 2 weeks. So if you need to take any important business related decisions, try to take it till around, you can say, Jan 12 or 13. After that, you have to be more cautious, as your business lord will start transiting in the 12th house in the enemy sign. Also, Saturn's impact will be there on your business house. So through and through, you will need to, again, try to stick with the status quo. Try to do what you've always been doing, what has been generating good results for you in the past. Keep replicating those and keep working on it, and eventually you will do better. In terms of finance, it is going to be a good month, especially the financial flow can come through your property, maybe rental income. It can come through sale of a vehicle, automobile, or a scooter or a motorcycle, or it can come through maybe any sale of land, any agricultural land, real estate property, sale of luxury furniture, luxury items. So try to save that money if it comes your way, and try not to again invest it in very high risk speculative investments like cryptocurrency, penny stocks. Otherwise, you can suffer from financial loss. But if you are wise with your investments, then you can actually grow your money. If I talk about health, then overall, your health area should remain stable for the most part. I do not see any major afflictions as such. Although in the last 10 days, try not to speed and drive your vehicle. Otherwise, possibility of like a minor accident or something cannot be ruled out, as Mars will be impacting your 8th house, and Ketu's presence is also there. And especially if you're running like Mars Ketu or Ketu Mars, then you will have to be more cautious. Try not to also ignore chronic health issues for the most part. If I talk about love life, then it is going to be a good month, especially till around the 19th of Jan. till the 19th of Jan, it is going to be a fairly good time for single people to possibly connect with someone and think of a relationship. After the 20th, it is not a good time, so you should try to stay away from getting into a relationship after Jan 20th. And in terms of those couples already in a relationship, the first 3 weeks should be smooth for the most part, but then the last 10 days or so can be a bit troublesome, as your fifth lord will transit in the 12th house and Mars will also move back in the enemy sign of Gemini, which can create arguments, disputes, quarrels, and just unnecessary misunderstandings in your communication. So think twice before you speak to your partner, or basically try to reduce the fire element in your communication, especially in the last 10 days. If I talk about marriage area, for those single people wanting to get married, the first 2 weeks can be a good time for marriage related activities, especially if you are running a good Mahadasha, Antardasha, your natal birth chart is supporting the same. The last 2 weeks, definitely avoid marriage related activity, or it can cause major issues in your married life. It is not an auspicious time for getting married. For those couples already married, the last 2 weeks are going to be a bit troublesome. So there is going to be ups and downs in your married life. There can be a bit of a separation distance wise for some time as well. But the first 2 weeks are looking to be more fruitful, more beneficial. So make the most of it. Education. In terms of primary education, for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, the time is looking very good throughout the month and you will make good progress. In terms of higher education, for those students pursuing master's PhD program, the time is once again looking phenomenal throughout the month and you will make excellent academic progress. In terms of travel, short distance travel journeys are not looking that favorable this month. So if you can avoid embarking on too much short distance traveling, and especially if you can work like a remote job or a hybrid job, if you can minimize your travel, short distance, it will be better for you. In terms of long distance travel journey vacation, the time is looking good throughout the month and you can certainly think of embarking on the same if you had long planned to, but you never got around to it. So I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Aquarius Kumbha Rashi friends. I hope you have a smooth and nice start to the new year 2025. All the best. For my Pisces Meen Rashi friends, let's talk about your career area first for Jan 2025, and then we will discuss the other areas of life. Professionally, it is going to be mostly a good month for you. Reason being, your career lord Jupiter will be well placed in the third house in the sign of Taurus all month long, from where it will aspect your Bhagyastan directly as well as your Labhastan. So that is the 11th house of gains and benefits from your career area. And then you also have Sun, which is basically a good planet for you. It will be Digbali in your career house itself in the first 2 weeks, and even Mercury will be there, and then they both will transit to the 11th house of gains and create the Budh Aditya Yoga. And Sun also controls your 6th house of daily work routine. So naturally, considering these combinations, you're going to have a fruitful and a productive month. And with your hard work effort, with good work-life balance, you will be able to consistently perform well in your duties, tasks, and projects and stand out on top. In the last 10 days, though, you will have Mars directly impacting your 10th house with a very strong aspect. But Mars is basically a good planet for you, so no concerns are seen as such. But avoid getting into unnecessary arguments, quarrels, disputes at the workplace with anyone. Otherwise, that could cause some issues. If I talk about business area, then overall, the business area is looking to be fruitful and productive for the most part this month. If you're already running a business, you can start to see good gains and accumulation in your financial business activity, especially in the last couple of weeks in the latter part of the month. Whereas the first 2 weeks can provide new business deals, opportunities. You might think of business expansion. Some old people, as in people from the past who had been maybe your mentor, your guide, or maybe your good friends, can return in your life and provide you with some good business advice, good business recommendation, good business contacts. Networking here can be very profitable, useful in the long run. So try to network as much as possible, try to communicate, try to attend seminars, lectures, events, any type of business activities where a lot of people congregate. So it is going to be a powerful month for your business area for the most part. So try to make the most of it. Only thing is, if you're running Ketu Dasha or Antar Dasha, then you will have to be more cautious. If I talk about finance, then overall the financial area is also going to be strong. And especially if you're working or living in a foreign land, you're working in a job in a foreign country away from the native place, then the financial growth, accumulation, savings will be stronger. And in the last 10 days or so, there could be sudden temptation to sell like your property, sell your investments like fixed asset investments, sell off your land, vehicle. But think twice before jumping to any conclusion. You have Rahu, the North Node, in your ascendant, which can sometimes cause confusion in decision making. Avoid risky financial speculative investments like cryptocurrency, penny stocks at all cost. Invest wisely. Think twice, thrice before implementing major financial decisions, and you will do great. In regards to health, it is going to be a good month for the most part, I will say, as long as you do not neglect any health issues concerning acute nature or chronic health issues as well. You take timely treatment, your medication or whatever it might be, very important. Avoid engaging in extreme outdoor adventure activities like skydiving, bungee jumping, all those sort of things. Um, Try not to climb tall ladders, heights without proper support. Protect your head region as much as possible. Even your chest region, try to take care, make sure your blood pressure, all these things are under control. But overall, I'm not seeing any major concerns as such, unless you are running Rahu Mahadasha, Antardasha, or Mars Dasha. Then it can be a bit more attention that will need to be given. If I talk about love life, in regards to single people wanting to get into a relationship, the time is looking to be good in the first 2 weeks and not as much in the last 2 weeks. So try to act accordingly. If I talk about couples already in a relationship, overall the month should be fine for the most part. I'm not seeing any major afflictions as such. There will be a lot of love, romance, bed pleasure activity, but try not to get into unnecessary arguments, quarrels, dispute in the last 2 weeks of this month. If we talk about marriage, for single people wanting to get married, the time is looking good throughout the month. Especially, you can say the last couple of weeks are looking good for actually getting married. And if your chart supports it, your Mahadasha, Antardasha, then lo and behold, marriage can take place. For those couples already in a marriage, the time is looking to be good and fruitful. You will have a lot of memorable time with your spouse, good quality time. And it can be a good time to visit any old places to relive those memories from the past, to relive that nostalgia. So try to spend good, memorable time with your spouse, as it is going to be a good month for marital bliss, harmony, and peace. In terms of education, primary education for those students pursuing bachelor's high school, you can say the month is looking good for the most part, especially the first 3 weeks. In the last week, there might be a bit of restlessness, a lot of energy, but not having the kind of, not being able to direct it in the right way. That kind of energy could be there. So, plan accordingly. And if we talk about higher education for those students pursuing master's PhD program, the time is going to be a bit more tough. But if you are willing to put in the hard work and effort, you can certainly be successful. Finally, travel. In terms of short distance travel journey, the time is looking good throughout the month. I do not see any major concerns. In terms of long distance travel journey and vacation, the time is also looking good for the most part, unless you're running, Mars Mahadasha, Antardasha, Saturn Antardasha, Mahadasha. Then also it could be fine, but you will need to do a lot of research, planning, due diligence before embarking on long distance travel. And especially if you plan to drive your vehicle and, go like drive 7-8 hours, then you will need to drive very cautiously, especially in the last 10 days or so. I believe I covered all the areas of life for my Pisces Meen Rashi friends. I hope you found this video insightful, and I truly hope and wish that you have a wonderful start to the new year 2025. All the best.